So if you saw the short that I had before this video, you're probably expecting a different performance. That's the actual one that I had was from an episode of Masters of Horror. The reason being is when I uploaded the short, it gave me a kind of copyright issue. And when I say kind of, it means that. It just say you have a copyright issue, your channel's not going to be affected in any way whatsoever. So I thought I'm not going to use any of the voices that I had planned because I don't want a copyright pull on my channel. That means you have to share revenue with the copyright owner, or a copyright strike, which is even worse. So you get me instead. The difference is, if you have watched my previous videos when I do facial motion capture, you're now seeing that my lips move a lot more accurate. And yeah, the mouth motion looks a lot better. That's because I'm using the Audio 2 Metahuman feature that Unreal 5.5 has, and that I've showcased on a previous video. The difference why this actually looks better is because of some enhancements that I did that we're going to take a look at right now. So stay tuned. Alrighty. So what we're going to be doing in this tutorial is how to do the enhancements of that video that you just saw. I've already prepared the performance right here. Let me open it for you. And as you can see, the performance already done. So if you are not familiar with that, then just go to that video first so you can know how to do this, and then come back here because we're going to be doing a little bit more advanced stuff here. The other thing that we are going to need is what I recorded from LiveLink. So here is the animation that I've recorded in LiveLink. As you can see, the lips don't move as much and they're not as accurate as what you saw in that intro. So what we're going to do is we're going to take everything from this, including the head motion, except for the mouth motion, which is what we're going to take from the Metahuman 2 audio, just to make things look really nice. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to clone this guy. So Control C, Control V, or Control W, whichever you prefer. I'm gonna leave him right here. It doesn't matter where he is, location, it's indifferent. And we are going to get them both into a level sequence. So add a level sequence, call it tutorial, at least for this one. I'm gonna add them both. So we got 1 and 2. In this case, I am going to delete the control rig for everything. Because we are going to be using animations. So for this, so what is going to happen? What we're going to do is we're going to extract the animations from one sequence and add it to the other. Let's start with this one, which should be the audio one. There you go. And I forgot how many frames it is. It's all the way down here. So we got this. And as you can see, one of the funny things about that is for some reason, Audio to Metahuman thinks that I'm angry when I'm speaking. I'm not. I'm actually smiling right now, but it always defaults to me being angry. So that's what we're gonna use the other stuff, which this is too funny. So let's see. I'm gonna just copy this name to make things easier. I'm gonna go to face. And by the way, this was just, done with Take Recorder. I have a lot of videos on how to record your animations with LiveLink, so you can dig through the channel. If you're new to that, let's go to animation, paste the name here, and there it is. Let's bring it all the way down here. And let's see how it looks. The head is not moving. If somebody knows why the head isn't moving, even though the head is moving in the animation, let me know. The way that I add head movement later is with control rig by copying the same thing that we're doing here, just with a different mesh. I'll show that later in the video, but if you know of the reason why the head is not moving, please let me know in the comments. I'll appreciate it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bake to control rig. So right click on the face and we're going to bake this one to face control board control rig. It's going to give you this. Everything is a default. I have not modified anything, so just leave it as it is. Create. We're going to do the same thing for the other one. So I'll be right back once this thing is done. Okay, we have both in control rig now. First thing that I like to do is on this mesh, delete absolutely everything that I don't want. So that is going to be eyes. It's going to go on this one. I'm sorry, not plural, just eye. And we're going to, that's a funny post that it got at the end. So I'm just going to select everything here all the way down. Yeah, just make sure you're not selecting the second one. And delete. This is going to take a minute because it's several keys, so don't worry, it's not crashing. It just takes a little bit. Okay, once that's done, you can see that it stayed in one place. Oh well. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to go into this one and we're gonna copy all of these. So select, by the way, I'm just doing Control C and Control V. Just copy and paste. Okay, we reach the bottom. Control C, go all the way up. Bring my scrubber to 0 and select all these. Using Shift, so you can select all of them, Control V, and boom, now I have the eyes, the same eyes that I have on this one. Now what I need is the brows. The brows are actually easier. Just delete that, type brows here. I don't know why I always do plural. Okay, so from this mesh, we're going to delete, and from the other mesh, we're going to bring in. So I'm just gonna select, and be careful because it's not that much. So let's do something. Let's just close the second one. That way I'm sure I'm not selecting anything that I shouldn't. Delete. And it stayed in a funny pose. Now I'm going to select all these. Control C. Select these all the way down here. Remember your scrub all the way to 0. Otherwise it's going to paste it wherever your scrub is. Paste it. And you can see that I'm not angry anymore. The other thing that makes it look angry is it's this little bit right here, which we also going to correct. If I'm not mistaken, those controls are these. Yeah. There you go. So those controls are named. Sorry, there's so many controls, I forgot the names. Nose. Okay, so let's go with nose. Not that many controls there, thankfully. As always, we're going to close the second just so we don't make mistakes. I'm going to select everything here. Delete. I'm going to go back down here, select everything, Control C, scrubber to 0, select all these, Control V, and I'm no longer angry. That's what's great. So we did the brows. As you can see, they're exactly the same. And we did the eyes. Let's make sure we do the blink control. On this one, I'm not gonna hide the second one. I'm just gonna delete this. Copy from here. See, this is what I told you. I forgot to put the scrubber to 0, and this is what's gonna happen if you don't. So undo, Control Z or Z, and paste. There you go. See, I look much happier now. Now I look like I want to talk to you guys. Okay, looking pretty good. And one of the things, if you want to check, is you can do it by the control rig. Just check the control rig and see what else is moving that you like for there to move. There's a couple of things that are moving here that are not moving here, and that is the reason why I'm using Audio to Metahuman, because LiveLink has never been able to capture speech the way that I would like it to capture. See how much more expressive the lips are here, and like this is more the visimies. The visimies means the animations when you talk. The visimies here are more accurate than here. I don't know what LiveLink. LiveLink hates me. It never works for me. So this is a great solution if I don't want to use Metahuman Animator. Now to the head bobbing. So let's get this guy and let's hide him, just so we don't waste a lot of resources. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw me pointing to this. Do you see this little floating piece of whatever spline? I have no idea what that is. It comes with control rig, because when I press the letter G, it goes away. So again, if somebody in the comments know what this floating piece of spline is, please let me know, because it's ever since I saw it, I cannot unsee it right now, and it freaks me out because I don't know, it makes me think that something is broken and it actually isn't. Okay, moving on. We want to have the head bobbing. That's actually not going to be too hard. What we're going to do is we are going to go here and just grab this animation and toss it into the scene, details, bring it into here. We're just going to put it here because all we got to do is copy the head motion. Again, if you know how to use the head motion on the Metahuman that for some reason is not working for me anymore, it used to work. I don't know if it's a 5.5 bug or whatever, but if you do, then you probably don't have to do this step. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this in. Put it here, and I don't know why it goes down, but apparently it's no longer stretched. And we can just add an animation. Just this one right here. It's gonna copy. And make sure also your scrubber is to 0 before you do that, so the animation doesn't go all the way crazy and it's still stretched for some reason. And as you can see, it moves that way. And as you can see, it's not moving with the face because I have control rig here. If I delete control rig here, you can see that it starts to emote. Now we're not worried about the emotion right now. We are worrying about the head movement. What I'm going to do is right click and we're going to bake it to control rig. So in this one actually. But before we do that, we have to uncheck filter asset by skeleton. And we're just going to bake it to Metahuman control rig. So I always use this one with a cube. I've never used this one. If you want to risk it and using this one, I don't know, your computer may explode if you do this. Don't blame me if it does. I'm just going to use this one. So bake it to control rig. Everything is default, create. Okay, there it is, bake to control rig. And as you can see, we got all the head motion right here. The face movement went away because we don't have any of the animations from the face baked to this. Now what we're going to do is go to him. And now that I'm thinking about it, I should have left the control rig for the body. Yeah, just leave the control rig for the body. You don't have to delete it. But there is another way to bring control rig. So it used to be in previous versions of the engine, I'll just bake it to control rig and control rig comes back. You can actually just click the plus button and go to control rig. I don't remember this being here. Probably I'm just misremembering, but I don't remember this being here. And just look for the Metahuman control rig Scroll all the way until you see it. It is this one right here. And there you go. Got control rig again. And since I didn't have any animations, that's why this process works. If you already had some animations on your character, then I wouldn't recommend this process. I would just bake it to control rig. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab everything that's on the head and we're going to paste it here. Now we're not going to delete anything because there's nothing here. So I'm just going to type head. There you go. Just this. So we're going to select all the keys. Control Z. I'm gonna go here. We're at 0. Control V. And now we play. So as you can see, everything worked great. This was actually pretty simple to do. There wasn't anything that I think it's out of the ordinary for anybody that has managed control rig before. All right, so as you can see, same as the intro, I think it looks pretty good. I think this is probably second to Metahuman Animator. Now you're wondering, why don't you just use Metahuman Animator? And yes, if I'm the one doing the mocap, it's much easier to just use Metahuman Animator. However, if you need somebody to do the voice for you, then Metahuman Animator can become a problem. For instance, I've already spoken to some voice actors that I want to have for the short films. And one of the issues that they mentioned is like, because I asked them, do you have an iPhone? Is it like an iPhone 10 or whatever? And the 2 out of the 3 people that I talked to said yes, they had an iPhone and they had an iPhone 12 or up. The problem is that their face is mostly covered by the microphone, the pop filter, and all that, because that's how they record professionally, which I totally understand. That is where this will come into play. In that case, I would ask my voice actor or actress that they record their voice as they would do it normally, and then they would do a second take without the microphone, just so I can capture the rest of the performance. Everything else, hopefully they can do that on video too, so I have the video reference for the cleanup. You always need to clean up motion capture, by the way, even if you use Metahuman Animator. But that helps a lot in that case. And that is a case that I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who has that issue. Anyone that's doing indie stuff of Metahumans inside Unreal Engine, even if you're not using Metahuman, if you're using the rig, you probably run into the same problem. Maybe somebody's doing their voice and they don't have the iPhone, but you do. So that way you can do the emoting and they can do the voice. There are several uses for this. Yes, Metahuman Animator is the best thing that you can do. But if you have an indie production where you don't have the crew on hand, I think this is amazing. Also, by the way, if you're doing previs and you're doing virtual production, this is a fantastic way to do previs. You can just do it with the Metahumans. Somebody can read lines. You can just ask the actor to read the lines for you, and you will literally have the lines being spoken by a Metahuman inside your pre-visualization project. So I think this is going to help a lot of people. Please share it around so more people see it. If you like my content, please subscribe. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, because that's how you get noticed here on YouTube. Share it with everybody. You can follow me on X. The links are in the description. And I'll see you in the next one.